28 and 27. Did play for EGTL previously and is 4-4 this season. Not the best record for a guy who does so well overseas. His matchup is 1-1 against Terrence, so he hasn't played too many of those matches just yet.
Yeah, and he's being sent out first here. I find that pretty interesting. A guy who, you know, can sometimes react negatively to pressure. They're putting him out here in one of the most pressure-filled situations against this guy, FlaSh, the god of StarCraft. He is just incredible. Look at his win record right now, 275 to 109 in all of Pro League. He has so much experience. He's been one of the best Terrans here in Pro League. He's been one of KT's main people that they send out all the time. And I love that they're putting him out here first to get things started for KT.
Makes sense, you know. He definitely does not have the impressive TVP that his teammate TY has. But, you know, probably didn't expect to see HerO first. Now, sending out HerO first, I think, is a great choice because if there's more pressure on his team, I think he's going to get more stressed out the later he's played. The first map is going to be Habitation Station. It's up and loaded. Let's jump into game number 1 between Incredible Miracle and KT Rolster.
LTA는 SK텔레콤.
Up here in the top right to start things off today in the blue for Incredible Miracle, Protoss player HerO.
Looks very stressed. The top left in red, the god of StarCraft, it's FlaSh. Continuing to have consistently good results in Korea in team leagues, struggling a bit more in the individual leagues. A lot of FlaSh fans waiting for his GSL title. Has not come to him yet. Now this map is really interesting. We talked about this a lot because there's a gold base, of course, on the map. Ooh, looking like FlaSh is a ghost in that picture. We put that guy in Heroes of the Storm.
Interesting picture.
But this map has a gold base, right? And so we do sometimes see players take it early on. In this matchup, though, it's a bit tougher to do so, especially with drop play and how easy it is for a Protoss player to attack you directly by ground if you take that base. So I don't think we're going to see either of these players rush that out too soon.
Yeah, I don't think so as well. I think we've only had 2 Terrans go for it on this map, Marine King and Keen. Keen was the guy who did it against Protoss, and, you know, it's an interesting build to do on this map. It's a bit risky, but if you have a very well-timed out build, it can definitely work. But FlaSh not known for doing the super risky builds.
Yeah, he's, you know, unless he's CC firsting, he's not taking any risks. And in Heart of the Swarm, almost nobody's CC firsting in this matchup, except on like Frost or Altrazine, for example. Now, you guys can see that FlaSh, of course, having a lead over HerO in televised matches. Not like the biggest one, but it is something to note. And you can see his results here from round 1 to round 2. Not a massive change there. FlaSh, on the other hand, having a bit more trouble in round 2. That's actually a pretty interesting stat there for him.
Yeah, I actually like that we get those stats there to give us a better look at how the players are changing over the different rounds, rather than just the whole thing altogether. We get a good look at how, you know, maybe FlaSh doing a little bit better here in round 1, but kind of sloping off a bit.
Now, with the Reaper coming out here, he wants to see if he can find a third pylon. Something that HerO is able to scout, by the way, with his super safe scout with that probe, is that he's pulled out of gas, so he's only going to have at most 2 Reapers, and will, of course, have a slightly faster command center as a result. And, you know, with 100 gas in mind, you're never really going to see 2 Reapers in the match. We've seen FlaSh make 2 Reapers sometimes, but it's just much better, generally speaking, to get that reactor up as soon as possible. It takes so long to build.
Yeah. Even sends an SCV over here to the Nexus area and is going to successfully block it here for a while. He's going to have to micro that around. Even gets a probe over here, does that Reaper. It's going to be nice for him. And of course, that Reaper is going to try to go in the base here now and see that third pylon we were talking about.
Yeah, you know, he actually had a probe at the third base that was killed, so it's possible HerO is considering taking that gold as his natural, but no matter what his plan was originally, it was scouted and killed, so it's not going to be able to take it. And you know what? He still hasn't sent a probe here to his natural. I think he's going to try it. No, okay. Turns around. Let's say HerO is doing something crazy and bold, but no, he's just going to take a normal Nexus. Look at that Reaper scout.
Oh, wow.
checks the Nexus but hides himself, so he still doesn't know the Reaper's there, which means it can pop into the main base at any time.
Yeah, that's actually so smart. He didn't go right into the main to check for that pylon. He was just waiting to make sure that the Nexus went down, and he's still going to keep himself hidden there so they can get some very nice scouting information later on. Very nice play there out of FlaSh.
Now the Reaper comes here into the main base knowing that the Mothership Core is away. We'll check the pylon location so he can come back later for a really important scout of the tech. Now he has to be careful here in the main base that Mothership Core is going to possibly get some damage done, while meanwhile a Stalker and a Zealot looks like will kill this SCV.
Forces the Marines over here to push this Mothership Core out here, allowing the Zealot and the Stalker in the front here to do some damage. And now they're grouped up a little bit here. Going to have to pull some SCVs here to fight. Gets another SCV, but the Zealot does go down. It's going to force HerO back here.
Yeah, a really scary combination with that Time Warp. You know, if he drops that on top of those units, then it could do a lot more damage. Back at home, it looks like we have double Stargate. Only Liquid HerO.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I'm like, if I were watching this without the names here, and I had to guess which player this is, I'd say it was HerO. And look at this. He's going to scan.
Choya, but like basically HerO.
Yeah, and the scan goes down. Doesn't see anything, but he does see that pylon. Did see that earlier, so he could guess that some tech is going down over there.
Yeah.
They want to send something in over there, maybe scan even again.
Did he lose the Reaper? Because if the Reaper is still out there, that's a really big concern. On this map, it's great to hide there because there's almost no way the Reaper is going to jump into the main base. You have to go too close. You can't jump across that huge gap. Now, one Oracle is started. And our... okay, we're going to have double Oracles here. This is new and different. Now, this does a ton of damage to Marines, and if you don't have bunkers, you are going to be in a world of hurt. If you don't have turrets, then you might want to kiss your win goodbye because it's just going to do too much damage to the worker line.
Yeah, I mean, you think about how much damage one Oracle can do if it gets into the working line and you're not prepared. Think about like 4 or 5, and they all go in there all together, and they're all, you know, hitting individual probes, and they all just go down so quickly. He's going to start another Oracle, another 2 Oracles here.
Yeah, he's just going to hide them. Notice he flies to the north so that that Marine that's going over to the third base cannot scout this. And so far, FlaSh is oblivious, right? He's got a worker coming over there, a Marine coming over here, but all he sees is a normal amount of gas mining, though. He sees no army there, and that's a little bit troubling, but it's not conclusive. He doesn't look at this and say, okay, it must be Oracles, and he's certainly not going to look at this and think, okay, it's double Oracles.
Yeah, definitely not. He actually can't. He salvages the bunker, rather, and now he's going to put up a turret here. Maybe thinking DTs. He wants one at the front. He wants to make sure. But look at this. 4 Oracles coming across the map right now. How is FlaSh going to respond?
Well, let's find out, man. The first turret is complete, but in a completely wrong place. Avoids that depot. Now he sees it. And how does he respond? 16 Marines on the map. He's pulling his SCVs away now. Starts to attack with his Marines. I don't think there's enough here. Great micro here by HerO. Marine count drops to 11. And this is a very big problem because even though he has plenty of Marines without stim, it's very difficult for them to actually chase and kill these Oracles. And the SCVs are losing so much mining time. He only has that 1 turret at the natural. He's even going ready to repair it as if he expected the Oracles to attack in. But so much damage done here already.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. You go in there with the 4 Oracles and they just target down those SCVs so quickly. Already 13 SCVs going down from that attack.
Fleet
Oracle
beacon.
has 5 on the way, and look at this fleet beacon.
What? Now, with 3 cannons going up here, he will be able to defend the natural pretty easily. This is very, rather gold base, I should say, but this is really like stats-esque. If he adds carriers here, I feel like, I mean, the idea is certainly there. We've seen players try this on this map before. I want to say we're going to see Tempest instead, though. Carriers are so hard to actually make work, and looks like FlaSh is anticipating something bigger because he's making a ton of Vikings right now. And more SCVs. Wow, he doesn't even have turrets.
No turrets in the main. Look at all of these SCVs going down. He loses 1 Oracle here, and maybe a couple more with this Viking, but already so much economic damage going down now.
Well, Phoenix is first here. Phoenix is, of course, going to help him deal with the Vikings. And when he eventually gets Colossi out, he can fight them straight up. And with that Fleet Beacon, he could go range. 53 to 31 Harvesters right now. FlaSh not having any 3-base economy versus a 3.5 base economy, you could say, with the gold.
Yeah, and even more so, to add to that fact, he targeted down a bunch of Marines with that push with the Oracles at first as well. And with the turn, he wanted to just get rid of as much of their army as possible, and he did just that before. And You know, now this push out of FlaSh is going to be even weaker. He doesn't have the economy to back it up to get an even stronger army, and HerO's just going to get way ahead here.
And the Tempest production has started, but he shows 2 Phoenixes, which probably leads FlaSh to believe that, you know, he's going to maybe go into a Phoenix composition here. And what's really interesting about this to me is that it also means that he can defend against a small count of Vikings with his Oracles. The Vikings will be killed by the Phoenixes if he wants to commit to fighting the Oracles. And it also means that no drop play is really even going to be considered by FlaSh right now because it's just too risky. He needs too many Vikings to guard the drops. It's just not worth it. And if this Tempest count gets too high, he's going to just start picking off units on the edge of his base with Phoenixes to guard them, you know, to protect them.
Yeah. Here we have a bunch more barracks going down for FlaSh. He's going to want to get as much army as possible here. Oh, that's a little bit of a mistake there. Loses 1 Oracle, but he does get the Revelation onto the entirety of the army of FlaSh. So he's going to have a very good idea of where that is at least.
Yeah. Does pick up a Stalker, but for a huge stim. And look at this. This is something we saw, if I'm not mistaken, it was stats. Some Protoss has done this on this map recently where, you know, he tried to go for Fleet Beacon tech all 3 bases, but the Terran just kind of punished him and killed him. And with all these cannons, you can just buy so much more time, plus the Nexus overcharge. It's really hard to actually just all in on top of that and get a win that way when there's that many cannons there. Plus time warps, you know, he could potentially drop. And he's always revealed. The medevacs are not being, you know, he can't hide them. Plus the Phoenixes he has to shut them down anyways.
Yeah, he also did this little nice trick over here. He puts that pylon down towards that 3rd base, and these Zealots are going to start streaming in. Here he's getting the melee upgrades back at home for his Zealots, of course. He's putting down that Twilight Council as well. Could even go into charge Zealots later on. Looks like he's going to go for Templar Archives here, though, first. And
this is what we were talking about earlier about the siege. He's got Phoenixes to protect against the Vikings. He knows the Viking count is low because he's checked so many times. And this is FlaSh right now freaking out, being like, oh, I need way more Vikings, but I can't afford that. I only have 1 starport. And I'm never going to be able to stem underneath those Tempests without there in that dead space. So the transition here to Templar Archives is very scary because he wants to go Marine heavy to deal with those Tempests because Marines will crush Tempests cost efficiency-wise. But if Storms get dropped on those Marines, the Marines not last very long underneath that at all.
Yeah, and we see everything you were just talking about. I mean, the charge, you get the Storm on the way as well. This is looking scary for FlaSh here. FlaSh does find that pylon over there, a little victory, but you know, once these 2 armies go head-to-head, especially if HerO has Storm at the time, I can't see it going well for FlaSh.
Something interesting to note, the Oracles do not get attack upgrades, so not going to benefit from that, as their attack ability is not an auto attack, but rather a spell. Feedback's being warped in here, and that means the Phoenix can make pretty quick work of this, plus the Nexus Cannon. He needs to do something here, and that's exactly what he does. Get 1 Tempest, 2 Tempests go down, but attacking into those cannons, I feel, is suicidal. Now this Widowmine did not get burrowed, so that's a little bit unfortunate, but a little bit of damage done here by FlaSh, and his trade there was pretty nice. He lost the drop, so killing those expensive Tempests is really important. You do not want that count to get out of control. He's adding 2 more starports up at home, getting as many Vikings as he can, and he has really good upgrades for his ground army. He has +3 now on the way, and it started a little bit earlier, so it's coming along pretty nicely.
Yeah, definitely a very nice advantage here taken for FlaSh. I just hope that, you know, HerO getting the little advantage earlier on, I hope he does not crumble here. I hope he stays strong and actually does not get too nervous, because he can definitely take this game right now.
Well, he's doing some damage here at the worker line again, just trading some minerals. Not too big of a problem for him to lose these Zealots for only an SCV because he has the gold base, so he has that extra economy. Well, he will want a 3rd Nexus pretty soon, a 3rd regular base, 4th base if you will, down to the bottom right. He's starting that now because eventually that gold base will mine out. It mines faster, obviously, than a regular base. It doesn't last too long. And he's adding in more and more Templars. Storm is done. And FlaSh cannot take this engagement. Absolutely not. Is he going to try for it?
Looks like he's going to go for it. Already the Tempest doing a bunch of damage. Some decent force fields over here. 1 medevac goes down, and FlaSh sees this army, and he's like, oh, no, I got to get out of here. And he's boosting away. He's trying to stim away, but HerO's on the chase here. Could start picking off some units right now.
Yep. And a ton of Zealots here. Now, he's fighting very well. He knows the Templar is slow, but he's got to be careful, and he will get pushed back. And the reason why the Tempests are so strong on this map is just because there's so many ramps. And also, you know, if they're doing that damage at the back, even if they kill a Marine or 2, that's nice. But if they kill a medevac, that's so expensive. And it just forces FlaSh constantly to retreat. He can't stim and go underneath them because of these storms. Now, he lost that command center without a cancel, so that's 400 resources he's never going to have back. Things are looking worse and worse for him all the time, and these Archons are going to get some excellent shots off on those Vikings. That's exactly what he would like to have. Time Warp here is excellent as well, and here we go. Where are the storms?
Where are the storms? That is the question. Doesn't seem like there's much, but there's not much on the ground here for FlaSh. A ton of Zealots pushing it back. The Vikings doing a good job against these Tempests, though.
Yeah, can he actually take them out? It looks like the answer is no. There's just too many. GG. HerO proves all 5 casters' predictions wrong and takes game number 1. Unique strategy, fun style. We don't really see this type of composition used against Terran very often. I feel it's very unique to the map. You know, there's little things like, for example, you would never want to ideally make 5 or 6 or 7 cannons at your third base. That's really expensive, but when you have the gold minerals to make up for that, it allows you to take that base. You can defend the base and attack with your Tempest at the same time. Really, really cool strategy by HerO. I feel like the response from FlaSh is a little bit lackluster. He wasn't able to see the Oracle build, and then he still never made turrets in his main base. He was so reliant on stim, and he just couldn't defend with that. He was spread too thin.
Yeah, I feel like very early on as well, like you were saying, he didn't scout the Stargates, but he was like, oh, well, I guess maybe it's going to be DTs then? And then he puts up 1 turret at the front, and then the 4 Oracles come into his main. I feel like he could have played it a bit safer, definitely earlier on. And then once he got a little bit far behind, he